Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back. I'm going to be your host, The Sound, and I am looking forward to our games for today. We're going to be taking a look back at some replays from from Week 8. And first stop has us at Division B East. We're going to be taking a look back at Heavy Greg versus Start Slow and then Taper Off. This is a best of 3 series. A little bit of info about these two teams. Heavy Greg are this season in their highest divisional placement. They, to this point, have only been in Division C, so making it up to Division B for Season 19. On the other battleground, Start Slow then Taper Off, were in Division A last season. They've had some roster shifts since then, so they're back in Division B. I have had the opportunity to play against both of these teams, both very strong teams. And so, firsthand I can say they're tough opponents. Let's head over to our battleground selection as we get prepped for Game 1. We had map bans onto Battlefield of Eternity and Towers of Doom for Heavy Greg, with Start Slow then Taper Off banning Tomb of the Spider Queen and Braxis Holdout. So we are headed to Cursed Hollow for Game 1. A classic battleground, one of my favorites. So we'll see how our teams approach the draft and approach the tributes, if they go for a split push thing, how important are bosses to their strategy. There are a lot of different avenues to victory on Cursed Hollow, so very dynamic battleground with a couple of strong teams. Should be a good series. So enough from me, let's get into the games. And we can introduce our teams. Here on the left in blue, we've got Heavy Greg. Randy Newman on Tyrande, Synthesis playing Tassadar, Chim Chim on Dahaka, Randy Newman on Medivh and Corrosive on Johanna. So a Medivh composition, very interesting. And to the right, we've got Start Slow then Taper Off, Arlu on Stukov, Zero Day Attack on Yrel, Xenochrist on Vala, Honey Badger on Varian, and Opie playing the Jaina. Let's take a look at our level 1 talents as we get prepared for first wave of the game. We've got a Sentinel build for Tyrande, opting for Ranger at level 1. As we can see, the Sentinel now pierces. We've also got Static Charge for Synthesis, looking to get additional damage by stacking up that Shock Ray. Start Slow then Taper Off playing this first wave very passively, which makes perfect sense. They are without a main tank until level 4. Honey Badger on the Varian won't be able to... Are we going to fight in the jungle here? They're not going to be able to step up and take a lot of punishment. Their HP scales very late. We've got a 3-hero commitment up here to the top lane. Chim Chim lands the drag, immediately drops the burrow, and will get out without much trouble. Arlu looking for some cheeky damage there, thanks to their level 1 low blow, but Chim Chim still very healthy. No concern there. No level 1 talent yet for Xenochrist, which is interesting, over a minute into the game. I suppose if you're not running into heroes, and therefore not stacking, you don't have to tell your opponents what you're doing. Opie and Arlu getting busy on this bruiser camp on the right side. This will give Opie one more globe for his level 1 quest. Fingers of Frost, Synthesis, and Randy Newman getting some stuff done on their own. No level 1 for Johanna either. Is that true? This is... I'm assuming not a replay bug, but it very well could be. The level 4 talent tier has arrived. It's an important power spike for Start Slow. because of the Varian. And Zero Day Attack is able to escort this siege camp for free into the towers there. On the top side, we've got a 4-hero commitment from Start Slow. Xenochrist finally opting for Free to the Hunter at level 1, looking to connect those auto attacks on heroes whenever possible. Zero Day trying to get the clear here on this Bruiser camp in mid. Level 4s for Heavy Greg. What do we have? We've got Mark of our Alun's Chosen for Tyrande. There's the taunt onto Randy Newman here in top lane. Randy Newman able to protect them. I don't have a strategy for how to differentiate Randy Newman from Randy Newman. Oh my goodness! Subdue complete at 3 minutes, and Corrosive didn't die for it. It is very rare that that quest is ever completed. Even rarer that it gets completed without the Johanna dying. Zero Day Attack posturing here on the bot side. They get the jump on. Okay, taunt lands. The protection is there. Chim Chim deep onto Xenochrist. Zero Day Attack doing the same for Heavy Greg's backline. Another drag does not connect. The Bruiser camp, or I'm sorry, Siege camp got knocked in. Randy Newman looks like they're going to be able to get the channel. Honey Badger gets the interrupt there. Chim Chim looking for another drag here on the top side. Level 7's close. Zero Day Attack knocking the rest of Heavy Greg away while Chim Chim is the target. We hear those squawks thanks to level 4. That's Raven Familiar for Randy Newman. They're looking for a takedown here onto the Tyrande. Zero Day jumps in one more time, gets the boot, and there's the taunt with the protect. Oh my goodness. Randy Newman on the Medivh doing so much work keeping Start Slow from getting any of those takedowns. Of course, this is why you draft Medivh into a varying composition. That single target blow up negated by all of the protection status that Medivh can bring. Next tribute will be spawning on the bottom side of this battleground. Ooh, there's a great drag. Randy Newman and Chim Chim getting a little extra damage onto Zero Day Attack. Got level 7s on both sides. Chim Chim opting for Symbiosis at level 7 rather than the newly gambitized Feeding Frenzy. Medivh talents Arcane Explosion. Fair enough. Chim Chim looks for the drag onto Xenochrist, but now they're in pretty deep. They're safe because of the Medivh portals. Start Slow a little bit slower to level 8 here. A big knock from Zero Day. They look for the takedown onto Randy Newman, and Tyrande will fall. Arlu turns around onto Chim Chim now. A boop from Zero Day. I don't think they're going to make it out. Corrosive has to take the portal out for safety. So that is the second tribute going in favor of Start Slow once again. Another stack for Honey Badger on the level 1 Lion's Maw. 19 out of the 25 required to increase that slow from 25% to 50%. Any other level 7s out of the ordinary? We've got Righteous Momentum for Zero Day Attack on the Yrel. So, Funny Hammer goes fast. Ice Flows for Opie on the Jaina. So, looking for the Rapid Fire Cone of Cold build. Likely to pair that at level 13 with Icy Veins. Both teams very close towards their heroics. A little bit more experience for Start Slow will get them there earlier thanks to their hero takedowns. We've got Ardent Defender, Massive Shove, Rain of Vengeance, and Water Elemental. And Varian has opted for Shield Wall at level 10. Dahaka soaking on the bot side, getting both teams up to their heroics. That was Blessed Shield used. Heavy Greg were able to get the channel without too much trouble. a stalling Blessed Shield, which, with that objective going in favor of Heavy Greg, Chim Chim is getting a lot of value down here on the bot side. Randy Newman looking for an additional attack onto Opie there. 0-day attack able to peel with another knock from the hammer. Chim Chim is getting through this whole bottom wall. Start Slow has not responded to the Dahaka split push, opting instead to posture around their boss on the top side. A bit of a catch-22 for the red team. They're going to commit all 4 heroes, make that 5. Try and get some progress on this top fort. Arlu caught on the wrong side of the force wall. There's the Blessed Shield. One more condemn will do it. Arlu's going to fall. Chim Chim still hasn't committed the burrow. There it is now. 0-day attack has already used the Ardent Defender. There's the drag. So 2 quick takedowns for Heavy Greg. They've got a Bruiser Camp pushing for them in mid lane. And Xenochrist is going to get to this objective first. Xenochrist might be able to channel this. Nah, they've got Medivh though. Heavy Greg, with their ability to cross terrain, should get here on time for the interrupt. Corrosive looking to cut off the path for Xenochrist, and Randy Newman rips the Leyline Seal. On the top side, Opie's gonna finish off this fort with this minion wave here. So first structure in favor of Start Slow. Chim Chim's rotating onto Opie here. I don't know if Jaina's gonna make it out alive, especially with the spell shield. Yeah, this is a big issue for Opie. They pop the adaptation, and 0-day is here for the knock. So Water Elemental and adaptation both used here. Corrosive on the far side of the fort here. The portal comes in, massive shove to get them away from the portal. Honey Badger finishes off their quest. Synthesis taunted up. Starfall used. Xenochrist down to about half HP. Master's Touch complete for Randy Newman. It's going to be a pretty significant damage spike for the Medivh player. And now we've got the next objective spawning on the bot side here. Everything to play for both of our teams. Xenochrist on the Vala had to hearth back home. So they're going to be a little bit slower to this objective than the rest of Start Slow. Both teams have achieved their level 13 talents. Leyline Seal lands onto 2. Do they have any follow-up here? The massive shove knocks Chim Chim away. Opie falling very low here. They are first to fall. And now Dahaka deep looking for Arlu. One more W might do it. They've got so much spell shielding thanks to their level 7 and level 1 talent synergies. Stukov goes down on the top side. So 3 takedowns in favor of Heavy Greg. They're looking for 0-day down here. They still have their Ardent Defender available. They're not going to commit it. 4 heroes taken down. I love this macro call from Heavy Greg. Understanding that Honey Badger on the very end by themselves, unlikely to contest this objective. They're going to get the boss started before the objective is channeled, which of course gives them the opportunity to get maximum uptime on the boss's HP while the forts are disabled. Definitely an excellent macro call from Heavy Greg. Corrosive hearthing back will make it a little bit tougher for them to push as hard as they might otherwise like to. About 3/4 level lead, I'm sorry, 1.5 level lead for Heavy Greg as they secure their level 16 talents here. Randy Newman continuing with the Owl build, getting Empower at level 16. That coupled with Harsh Moonlight, opting for relatively large damage and a slow. Ooh, that's a tough ley line to catch here. Arlu's gonna fall. Instant blow up there. Chim Chim gets the drag. It's onto Honey Badger, one of the more survivable, but Xenochrist goes down. That was Blessed Shield from Corrosive taking them out. They go over the wall with the portal. They're trying to get onto Opie here. They're It's very slow, but it looks like the Jaina will make it out alive. Boss still at about 75% HP. This could be a game-ending push, depending on how it works out. Minus 75 armor is pretty spooky. But Boss still healthy. About 5 seconds before Vala respawns. Double support might be able to get this done. Zero-day attack comes in on the flank here. They still have their Ardent Defender. A drag lands, this time onto Arlu. Arlu's the target once again. They take out the healer for start slow once again. Boss still healthy on the core. Down below 60% here. Corrosive falling very low. That's going to be a takedown on the Johanna. Zero-day attack falling low now, and that's a reciprocal takedown. Randy Newman able to portal out. Opie goes deep here. Oh, but they get dragged. I think Jaina will fall here. One more auto attack from Chim Chim will do it. Xenochrist trying to get some comeback XP and reciprocal takedowns. In the end, 56% will be enough for start slow to fend Heavy Greg off. An excellent play from start slow, and Heavy Greg really far ahead after their first objective phase. Next tribute spawning on the top side of the battleground. Start slow have equalized talent tiers, importantly, but they've got this constant catapult pressure down here in bot lane. It's going to be tough for them to deal with the boss on the top side. Heavy Greg positioning up here to potentially steal that away. There's the silence. Leyline catches 3. Synthesis looks for the black hole. Big grab there. Wish the drag. A double takedown. Honey Badger caught out here. Another takedown for Heavy Greg. They'll steal away the Bruiser camp here. And rather than split off to boss, they're going to push with their catapult and Bruiser camp. I like this call. You've got takedowns. Get some structure damage. Makes perfect sense. Opie has a lot of tools for cleaning things up. They sidewall and portal. These guys can Medivh. I'll tell you, this team is familiar with playing with Medivh. I don't think they're going to get to level 20 unless Zero Day and Opie make some heroic outplays here. Lots of damage onto Corrosive, but that's going to be all she wrote for Game 1, going in favor of Heavy Greg. GG, well played. The Medivh draft coming in clutch. Medivh, always a tricky hero to play around. And man, did Heavy Greg look polished on that composition. Not necessarily what I would have expected for Cursed Hollow. Double support can be tricky, but they did not fall behind on the macro in any way. You can take a look at our post-game stats here. As well as builds. What do we have? Synthesis, top of their team, top of the lobby, in fact, for damage. So much damage out of Randy Newman's Tyrande, up to 30,000, just about as much damage as Opie's Jaina. So watch out for Randy Newman on Tyrande. Definitely a signature hero for Heavy Greg. Let's take a look at our builds as well. Chim Chim opting for the recently nerfed Dark Swarm build on Dahaka. Still very strong, of course. Temporal Flux for Randy Newman on Medivh. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Standard talents, what did we get? Root? Yeah, Root at level. And 13 we went for Bigger Blizzard. Interesting. So there you go. Level Game 1. Shrinking Vacuum at 16? Weird. Fair enough. Everyone has their own favorite talents. So let's head back to our Battleground selection and see where we're headed for game number 2 in the series. Rocco, welcome. Happy to have you in chat. Happy to have everyone who tuned in live. Always a pleasure to be joined by members of the community supporting the Nexus Gaming Series. All right, so game 2, we're headed to Dragonshire. Very exciting. One of my favorite battlegrounds, once again, 2 back-to-back hits in my mind. I like, once again, how much decision-making and macro potential there is for this battleground. If you are always making the right decision and controlling rotations, you're likely to win. Sometimes you get outplayed, and that's just how here. Any MOBA, Heroes of the Storm, is not immune to that. But Dragonshire definitely rewards that strong decision-making. And after Heavy Greg's performance in Game 1, their ability to use the global well, I think they could perform just as well on Dragonshire. Of course, having played against Start Slow a fair bit myself, I can say with experience that they are adept at Dragonshire themselves. So I expect this to be a excellent Game 2. Alrighty. So let's get into it for game number 2. We can introduce our teams once again. On the left, we've got Heavy Greg, Randy Newman on Lucio, Synthesis on Chromie, Chim Chim on Rexar, Composite Sinatra. I'm going to go with Composite Sinatra. There's no R, but I just want it to be Sinatra. On Cassia and Corrosive, playing a Nubarak, so a roster swap for Heavy Greg. And then on the right, we've got Start Slow, then Taper Off, Zero Day Attack on Urel, Arlu on Rhaegar, Honey Badger playing Johanna, Opie on Kael'thas, and Xenochrist on the Sylvanas. Composite stacking up their Thunderstroke at level 1, trying to connect those Lightning Fury Qs. Honey Badger harassed by Randy Newman on the Lucio. And it is a split engagement. Start Slow. Looks like they're going to get first clear on this minion wave. Oh, a huge Burrow Charge. Arlu's in a lot of trouble. They are able to mount up the Sandblasts from Synthesis, almost taking out the Rhaegar there. A great engagement. Oh no, Zero Day might be dead here. Oh, booped out of the jump. They'll get one more heal, but Randy Newman's going to chase it down for first blood. Heavy Greg playing very well with the Lucio. I think the Lucio player was their Medivh player, if I'm remembering the correct Randy Newman. This is going to be a tough lane here in top for the Urel. Chim Chim on Rexar. Definitely one of the better top lane options for Dragonshire. As our objective points unlock, we'll be able to see how that strength plays out. We've got both teams picking up their siege camps for bot lane. And it's going to be bottom shrine in favor of Start Slow. Here's the collapse from Heavy Greg. An earlier level 4 for the home team, thanks to their hero takedown experience. Urel fighting for her life up in top lane to get the bear to leave. Zero Day Attack. I thought that I would be able to get up there in time for the takedown, but in the end, Urel gets the 1v1. Honey Badger trying to get one more kill. They're baiting with their trait. Lots of damage on... That's 2 takedowns now. 4 Start Slow. Synthesis down to about half HP, but Urel was left unattended, and so they secure their first objective. Start Slow will pay with a Rexar takedown. Randy Newman chasing Honey Badger down. OP falling low as well, but all of Start Slow are able to escape. And once again, Urel in the objective unfettered in mid lane, gets through that first tower with ease. Level 4 talents, anything out of the ordinary. I didn't call it out because of how action-packed the level 1 fight was, but we've got a Stormcaller W build for Rhaegar. Not the most common. 0-day attack, expertly dodging the Misha stun. As we check in with bot lane, Start Slow are getting a lot of value out of Xenochrist's Black Arrows. Here's the rotation in from Corrosive, but they're going to be able to escape without too much trouble. We're neck and neck on experience now. A little bit more minion XP for Heavy Greg, a little bit more hero takedown XP for Start Slow, but altogether a tight game. Honey Badger double checking that Heavy Greg aren't trying to steal away that bottom neutral bruiser camp, while both teams get busy in top lane with their respective bruisers. Start Slow is a little bit faster to that camp rotation. We'll see if they opt to push with their top or try and get a favorable fight down here in bot lane. Honey Badger once again caught by the time trap. We've got level 7s on both sides. Divine Steed for Yrel this time rather than Righteous Momentum. Arlu opting for their mount talent as well at level 7, Blood and Thunder, which is cooldown reduction with every wolf bite, I believe. Day attack, just trying to eat through some of Chim Chim's HP. Chim Chim being very diligent in holding on to the Misha charge and waiting for the Yrel jump. Interrupting that harms her damage output and, importantly, her wave clear. Level 8 for Chromie means they've got their heroic already. Slowing Sands was the option. There's the engagement onto Xenochrist. Corrosive, Honey Badger low, but they do still have their Iron Skin. Honey Badger in full retreat. Synthesis tries to take them out with that Dragon's Breath, but Honey Badger gets the sidestep. 0-day attack very low up here in top lane. They'll boop away Misha, but it's going to be a while before Start Slow can wrest control of these shrines from Heavy Greg. A little bit of a miscommunication there on the engagement. Corrosive now caught without a burrow charge. Arlu biting in, but it looks like they're going to get out just fine. Start Slow getting an earlier heroic talent tier. We'll pull them up right here. Arlu is the target for Corrosive. They'll self-ancestral. Big silence arrow with the follow-up. Arlu chasing him down. Pyroblast onto Randy Newman. Oh, they'll fall! Composite Sinatra falling low as well. It's 2 for 2 at the end of the day. Corrosive and Synthesis still sticking around here on the bot side. Xenochrist is going to have to escape. They'll do just that. 0-day trying with all their might to get Misha to leave, which she never wants to leave, friends. And able to get onto the Rexar main body. Arlu continuing to get some experience here in mid lane. Synthesis doing a great job warding these bushes with the time trap. Arlu has gotten as many stalls as a Rhaegar could and made it out to tell the tale. Both teams far more interested in focusing on the bot side of this battleground. Huge damage onto Randy Newman and Composite Sinatra both. A great rotation from Start Slow. Catches those two unawares. This is why you take that aggressive rotation when you're ahead on the macro. Black Arrows interrupted with a cocoon, but they're able to escape that with relative ease. So Start Slow really fighting back here in game 2. Chim Chim gets the boars onto 2. Xenochrist falling low. They'll die. Arlu is the target now. Corrosive, not enough mana to cast another CC. And it looks like Zero Day Attack is going to get another objective channel. Does Arlu make it out to safety? Arlu will make it out. There's the Pyroblast onto Corrosive, but in the end, Synthesis takes down Opie on Kel'Thas. So Heavy Greg gets another round of takedowns, but loses another objective. It's a massive wave here in mid with a pretty healthy Dragon Knight. Heavy Greg chewing through the HP pretty quickly, all things considered, but mid fort heavily bruised. Now 0 Days in a bit of trouble. They'll use the Divine Purpose to augment their jump. I never remember what the jump is called. Xenochrist sacrifices themselves for fort. Heavy Greg, with all 5 heroes here, seeing Rhaegar on the top side, they're going to get aggressive and invade on this siege camp. Makes a lot of sense. Netherwind and Sun King's Fury. Okay. With Sylvanas still back at respawn in the Hall of Storms, Heavy Greg have an excellent opportunity to get some push done here. There's a lot of damage going on to Composite Sinatra. Opie doing some cheeky minion last hitting. Honey Badger once again being very judicious with their trait usage. Arlu on the Rhaegar has not come down for a long, long time. They are committed to getting top fort progress. So they've sent that Bruiser camp out to help Yrel push. 0 Day Attack gonna harass Rexxar on the way up. And with Yrel showing in mid lane, Heavy Greg choose to back up. Makes a lot of sense. This is an even talent tier fight, but oh, they catch Sylvanas. Opie the target here. There's the heavy casters from Randy Newman. Arlu and Composite Sinatra on the top side dueling it out. Opie's very low here, and they'll be first to fall. We hear the Wailing Arrow. Honey Badger falling low. There's the last minute Ancestral. Looking for one more Dragon's Breath. Honey Badger escapes, taps well. Looks like they're going to have to hearth home. So Heavy Greg have an opportunity both to get the bottom temple and potentially get some progress here on this bottom fort. Yrel showing in mid lane now. Level 16s on both sides. We see the Will of the Forsaken from Xenochrist committed there. Honey Badger still 25 seconds until their next Blessed Shield. So Composite Sinatra still pretty healthy here in the top side. Corrosive looks for the Burrow Charge onto Arlu. Another game with Subdue completed. Oh, they're going on to Xenochrist, and Arlu's next. 2 takedowns while Ancestral Healing was off cooldown. A great rotation from Chim Chim to unleash the boars and set the team up for that double takedown. Corrosive goes onto the Johanna. Honey Badger has to use the trait the second it comes off cooldown. 0 Day Attack continuing to harass. What'd they opt for at 16? It is Templar's Verdict. Right, but because of Hunter-Gatherer, the minus armor on Rexxar is equal to the armor he gains from his level 4 talent. Okie doke. Structurally, Start Slow still definitely in the lead. Experience, we're neck and neck. A little bit of an advantage to Heavy Greg, thanks to their hero takedown experience. Start Slow briefly get double altar channel here, but sorry, friends. Nope. There we go. Topside Bruisers pushed out for Heavy Greg, with Corrosive playing for the Shrine here on bottom. Another flank with the boars. There's an Ancestral Healing. Arlu's able to get it onto themselves, but that's when the rest of Heavy Greg collapses. Arlu's not going to make it out, will they? Randy Newman could not get the chase down. Whew, that was a close call. Honey Badger still very healthy here, but there's no move speed for Heavy Greg to chase them with outside of Corrosive's Shed Exoskeleton. Randy Newman's made it to the fight now. Arlu does not have their heroic this time round. One more skill shot could do it, but they're able to... Oh! The level 18 coming in clutch. The Piercing Sands on Synthesis, making the difference there, getting the takedown on the Rhaegar. 0-day attack, very low in top. They still have the Ardent Defender, but it would be a shame to use it in a 1v1, is I imagine what they're thinking. But with the power play, Heavy Greg have all the options they could ask for, playing on the top side of the battleground. Now, we've got Randy Newman making that rotation up to threaten Yrel. Honey Badger's in range to get a stall. They've opted for the level 16 heal Holy Renewal. Alright, so first Dragon Knight for Heavy Greg, but it is a late game DK. It pushes extra strength hard. And Heavy Greg are just around the corner from their Storm talents. So this could be a big play for them. Our 0-day attack, just trying to stall Heavy Greg. Unleash the Boars used once again, but Start Slower able to duck behind their keep wall without too much trouble. Mid-fort taken down. Mid-keep wall probably not long for this world either. Xenochrist's percent damage at level 1, overwhelming affliction, importantly does not affect the DK. And we've got Storm talents for the rest of Heavy Greg. Kill Command for Rexar, Mixing Fire for Lucio, Infinite Ball Lightning, and Rewind. Start Slower doing the right thing. They've got Yrel still soaking. Lots of damage onto the Johanna. Oh, they looked for the Blessed Shield. It does not connect. And so with the Yrel side soak on top lane, they'll achieve Storm talents of their own in just a second. I imagine we'll see them Hearth. There's the Cocoon. They're just trying to get the keep taken out here. Corrosive dodges. There's the kill command. They're looking for the Sylvanas. They're going to escape. Core stuns are coming into effect here. Oh no, Composite Sinatra will get taken down. There's another takedown onto Misha. They're looking for Chim Chim here. Rexar still has the Purge if they choose to use it aggressively. They do, onto Corrosive. Shed Exoskeleton for a little bit more move speed. Burrow Charge as well. The slow lands on to Randy Newman, but Synthesis able to save the team with the slowing sands. 0-day attack onto Chim Chim here. And it's a fight on two fronts. Start slow, collapse onto Corrosive. One more bite from Arlu might do it. A huge unstoppable from Randy Newman. And that's going to do it. That gets Heavy Greg out of trouble. Chim Chim lands the stun there. Have they bit off more than they can chew? Looks like they'll be A-okay. Start Slow still have the hero advantage, 5v4 on the battleground. Objective spawning. Top fort went down. Mid fort likely to fall here. So a structural advantage for Start Slow in top lane, while Heavy Greg enjoy one in the bot lane, which is typically the easier lane to find victory through. Time Walker's Pursuit coming in extremely handy here in the late game. Having a vision tool that works across the battleground means that you are unlikely to get snuck upon, and that oftentimes is the difference maker in these late game team fight scenarios. Whoever gets to engage first and plays that rotation correctly is in the advantage. And here it is, Corrosive deep on the flank. They stun out, but it looks like they're going to be able to turn around onto Opie here. Misha stun for the first takedown. We see the rewind popped. Arlu fighting in deep here. They'll Ancestral Healing with their level 20 Storm Shield. They won't get a second proc. There's the Ardent Defender. It's 5v4 in favor of Heavy Greg. They've got 3 catapults and a Bruiser Camp. Misha stun on to Xenochrist. Chin Chim trying to... Oh, Composite Knocker, what are you doing, bud? One more blind might do it. Honey Badger able to escape. Xenochrist very low. There's the takedown. Big knock from Zero Day attack. But the Yrel falls. Another Lightning Ball. Horse still has shielding. Honey Badger, however, is not going to make it out after that fend in with the level 16 from Cassia. Static Electricity doing so much damage. Arlu, the last standing 4-start slow, but it's not going to be for long. It's a full 5-hero team wipe. Heavy Greg able to take the series in a quick 2-0. Game 2, a close contest to be sure, but in the end, Heavy Greg got the better of Start Slow. And I have to say, those late game fights, actually a lot of their engagements were off of some stellar vision play. Chim Chim on the Rexar got some huge flanks with the Boars at 10 and Kill Command at 20. Corrosive doing an excellent job on the Anubarak as well, staying out of vision and getting those tricky engagements. Let's take a look at our post-game stats synthesis. So much damage on the Chromie. It is a signature hero once again for the team. Honey Badger, top of their team, with nearly 59,000 hero damage. But she's a tank, she's not a DPS, we swear. Checking in on our builds. Cassia up to 100 stacks on Thunderstroke level 1. So that's why those Static Electricity Fens at 16 were doing so much damage. And paired with War Matron, the Protected at 13, it's a lot easier to fend in and get those big damage procs. Arlu completed Stormcaller at level 1. Definitely not the most common Rhaegar build, but I believe it is the one that Arlu favors most. They went with double Storm Shield at 20, with Blinded by the Light and Elemental Conduit. Really, it was just the out-of-vision engagement onto Opie that sealed the deal, however. And so that'll do it for our first series of the day. Game 1, with some excellent global play, Heavy Greg set themselves up for the 2-0, and they were able to close out. They weathered the storm in the early game. They lost a few early objectives. Start Slow were doing a great job in getting control of both beacons and sneaking Yrel down. But frequently that was because Chim Chim on the Rexar made the rotation all the way down to bot lane, and so they were able to clean up some takedowns, and it was a big difference maker for them as the game drew later. I am going to continue the stream with another series after this, so if you're here live with us, stick around. But for all the fine folks on YouTube, we'll do a quick sign-off. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you, NGS, for all of your volunteer staff working so hard to keep this excellent league running. I appreciate all your efforts. And last but not least, a huge shout out to all of the artists, programmers, and musicians whose work I feature here on the stream. It wouldn't look or sound anywhere near as good without their contributions. You can find links to their work below the video or coming up in a credit roll here. Please check them out. They are excellent. It's all open source or Creative Commons licensed material, so it could be in your next project as well. Until next time, friends, good luck and have fun. Peace and love.